Welcome to the fundamentals of agricultural economics, where we explore the business side of farming. Today, we'll be understanding the economics behind food production and farming operations. Now, let's compare microeconomics versus macroeconomics in agriculture. Think of these as different lenses, but they both look at the same farm system. First, microeconomics in agriculture focuses on individual decision-making. It examines choices made by farmers, consumers, and individual agribusiness companies. This includes studying resource allocation, pricing strategies, and production at smaller scales. For example, a farmer deciding which crops to plant based on market prices. Now, macroeconomics in agriculture looks at the bigger picture. It examines how the entire agricultural sector performs within national and global economies. This includes national policies, economic growth patterns, inflation rates, and employment trends. Examples include government subsidies, trade policies, and agriculture's contribution to GDP. Let's explore key microeconomic principles that apply specifically to agriculture. These are the decisions made right at the farm level by individual producers. First, supply and demand dynamics are crucial in agriculture. This determines how market forces set the prices of farm products and commodities. Next, elasticity measures how responsive buyers and sellers are to price changes. It shows how quantity demanded or supplied changes when prices move up or down. Production decisions involve strategic choices farmers make about their operations. Farmers decide what crops to grow, how much to produce, and their production methods. Finally, market structures define the competitive environment in agriculture. This helps us understand the level of competition among agricultural producers. Now, let's examine macroeconomic influences on the agricultural sector. These factors represent the bigger picture that affects farming operations. National economic growth significantly impacts agriculture. The agricultural sector contributes to both GDP and employment in the economy. Government policies play a major role in shaping agricultural markets. Subsidies, price controls, and trade tariffs all impact how farmers operate. Inflation and price movements affect both producers and consumers. Rising costs of inputs and food prices impact everyone in the supply chain. Exchange rates influence international trade in agricultural products. Currency values affect how competitive agricultural exports and imports become. Economic cycles create fluctuations in agricultural demand patterns. Demand for farm products changes during recessions and periods of economic growth. Let's explore the fundamental laws of demand and supply in agriculture. These principles form the foundation of all market dynamics in farming. The law of demand describes consumer purchasing behavior. As prices decrease, the quantity demanded increases, and vice versa. For example, consumers buy more wheat when its price becomes lower. This law reflects consumer willingness to purchase at different price points. The law of supply describes producer selling behavior. As prices increase, the quantity supplied increases, and vice versa. Farmers grow more tomatoes when prices rise due to market shortages. This law reflects producer willingness to sell at different price levels. Now, let's examine key factors that influence agricultural demand patterns. Understanding what makes consumers buy agricultural products is crucial. Consumer income and preferences significantly affect demand. Rising incomes lead to demand for premium goods, while changing tastes impact specific products. Population growth directly increases food demand across all agricultural sectors. A larger population means more people need food and agricultural products. Prices of substitutes and complements influence consumer choices. Demand changes when prices of related goods, like wheat for rice, shift significantly. Government policies can dramatically alter consumer demand patterns. Subsidies or food programs significantly impact demand for staple grains and products. Let's explore the key factors that influence agricultural supply and what drives production decisions. So, what makes farmers decide how much to produce? Several important factors come into play. First, weather conditions and climate are absolutely critical for agricultural success. Rainfall, temperature patterns, and natural disasters directly affect crop yields and livestock production outcomes. Technological advancements also play a huge role in modern agriculture. Improved seeds, better irrigation systems, and advanced harvesting methods can significantly increase production quantities. The cost of production is another major factor farmers must consider. Prices of inputs like seeds, fertilizers, and labor directly influence how much farmers decide to produce. Government policies and subsidies can dramatically shape agricultural production. These policies can either incentivize or discourage production through financial aid programs or regulatory measures. Labor availability is the final key factor we'll discuss. Having sufficient workers for planting, harvesting, and processing is absolutely crucial for maintaining supply levels. Now, let's understand price elasticity in agricultural markets and how responsive they are. How do markets react when prices change? That's what elasticity helps us understand. Price elasticity measures how much quantity demanded or supplied changes when prices shift. For agricultural goods, this helps predict market reactions. Demand for necessities like rice is often inelastic, meaning consumers buy it regardless of price changes, while luxury items show more elastic demand. Supply also varies. It's often inelastic in the short term due to fixed growing seasons, but becomes more elastic over time as farmers adapt. Understanding this concept is vital for pricing strategies and government policy decisions. Let's examine the major government policies that shape agricultural practices and markets. These policies actively shape the entire farming landscape and production environment. First, we have price support policies that establish minimum price levels. These policies set minimum prices, known as price floors, for various crops. They protect farmers from price volatility and help ensure they receive fair income. A great example is India's minimum support price system for wheat and rice. Subsidies represent another important policy tool for governments. These provide financial aid to help reduce production costs for farmers. Subsidies encourage production of specific goods that governments want to support. They typically cover essential inputs like fertilizers, seeds, and irrigation systems. Trade policies regulate how agricultural products move across international borders. These policies regulate international trade through tariffs, quotas, and export restrictions. They protect domestic farmers while ensuring national food security needs are met. For example, countries may impose export restrictions on rice during low production periods. Insurance programs provide crucial protection for farmers against various risks. These protect farmers from crop failures caused by natural disasters and weather events. They help manage uncertainty and secure farmers' livelihoods during difficult times. India's Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana is an excellent example of such programs. Now, let's explore the core objectives behind agricultural policy interventions. Why do governments intervene in agricultural markets? Several key reasons drive these decisions. The first objective is supporting farmers' income through various mechanisms. This involves ensuring fair prices for produce and reducing input costs for farmers. Ensuring food security is another critical objective for governments worldwide. This means stabilizing food prices and increasing availability for all citizens. Promoting sustainable practices has become increasingly important in modern agriculture. This includes encouraging organic farming methods and water conservation techniques. Enhancing agricultural productivity is fundamental to meeting growing food demands. This requires investing in new technologies and improving rural infrastructure. Reducing rural poverty remains a key objective for many agricultural policies. This involves providing income support and creating employment opportunities in rural areas. Let's discuss the crucial role that international trade plays in global agriculture. International trade in agricultural products is vital for global food security, allowing countries to import goods they cannot produce efficiently while exporting their surpluses. It drives economic growth by generating foreign exchange and creating rural employment opportunities. Trade promotes efficiency through comparative advantage, where countries specialize in products they can produce at lower opportunity costs, leading to lower consumer prices worldwide. This global exchange helps diversify food sources and reduces risks from local crop failures and production disruptions. Let's summarize the key takeaways from our discussion on agribusiness management. Here are the essential points you should remember from this lesson. First, agribusiness management integrates both micro and macroeconomic principles in agriculture. Supply and demand dynamics determine market prices and quantities for agricultural products. Price elasticity helps us understand how markets respond to changes in pricing. Government policies and subsidies play crucial roles in stabilizing markets and supporting farmers. International trade ensures global food security and promotes economic growth through specialization. Understanding these concepts is absolutely vital for making informed decisions in agriculture.